Hello, everyone. Welcome to Creating in Abundance. I'm Pooja, and today I have a very special topic for you. I feel called to speak about this. So, if you're watching this live, welcome in. And before I get started with today's topic, right, I want you to imagine what would it feel like, what would it feel like to you if you could have a life, or if you could live your life on a daily basis where your heart does not feel as heavy and you don't feel stuck, or when you're going through a loop, how would it feel like to have that intense sort of energy that you could focus on creation, on flow, on love, on joy, on creating more beautiful and yummy memories, and not just keeping yourself stuck in things that's only going to bring you down, that's only going to lower your vibe, that's only going to keep you in a plane, in a mental plane where you not only feel dense, where your energy feels dense, where you feel low, when you don't feel as potent, as activated, and as powerful, but you know, having that power to instantly shift that stuckness in your energy and to live from a place of openness, to live from a place of liberation, to live from a place of flow and femininity, right? And I know, although it sounds too good to be true, it is possible, especially if you have this belief that you can absolutely have it all. And with this, I want to open to this topic. It's judgment. It is judging people in your life for their decisions, for what they have done, or how the things they have done in their life affected you, or keep staying in that energy of resentment, staying in that energy of pain, and keeping yourself as a hostage in that energy, right? So, with that said, let's open to this topic. And why is it that I want to talk about letting go of judgment? And before putting things into context, I want to share my own story, right? And I feel this urge to speak about it in this moment now because we all are work in progress. No one is perfect. We all are here in our own spiritual journey, and every experience in our life gives us the lesson that we need to learn, right? Every level has a new devil, and every experience in life is there to teach us something. Nothing is a coincidence. And recently, I had this experience when someone who was very close to me, someone who was very close to my heart, and who is like, who was like everything to me, I felt like that person wronged me. But it is, again, from my perspective, and I precisely say it is from, I feel it, so it's from my perspective, and everyone has their own perspective. But like, I went from a very good energy uh, to a place of resentment, of keep like that tightness in my chest. Like that person, I was doing something for that person from a good intent. I was trying to guide them because I knew that the decision that was, like, it is a very close family member. So I knew that the decision that person was making is not the right decision for them. But then again, it is from my perspective, right? From my lenses of reality. And there are so many versions of reality, and we all get to experience that. But that was from my lenses, from my reality, and that's how I felt. And because of that, when that person did not listen to me, and that person who was like everything for me in my life for the past 30 years of my life, that person was everything for me, when they did not listen to me or the feedback I had to provide to them, it shattered me, because that person, like completely disappeared from my life, and it shattered me for a moment. Because we only get hurt from those people who we are attached to, or to those people who we have connection with, or we have emotional attachment with. And that is how I felt in that moment, where I had this blown experience of being in a very negative headspace. That person who I truly loved, and I still do, all of a sudden I became very resentful. My heart started it was like a contracted energy. And like for some time I really had to sit down with myself, because it was very difficult for me to process that emotion. But after 2 weeks, when I came to the other side of it, when I was finally able to calm my nervous system down, and to really look at that experience from a place of compassion, from a place of empathy, from a place of neutrality and detached, from detachment, I realized that, you know, I am judging that. I am judging that experience of, I'm judging the whole experience where the decision that person made created that whole thing. Because that is, it is whatever, like, it is their life, right? And why do I share this story? The background of this story is so important for what I'm going to talk about today, because look at the energy I have created in my life. From a high vibe emotion, all of a sudden I have become this bundle of resentment, of, hatred, of anger, of like emotions that does not feel good in my heart, of emotions that does not feel good in my body. And that is not who I am in my essence, but that is how I felt in the moment. But there is this very strong principle of saying that, the world is simply a mirror, it is a reflection of who we are truly in the inside, right? It is the reflection of who we are within. And that is exactly what that is. If I was judging that person, if I was trying to control that situation through my understanding of reality, and if my decisions was, like whatever I was doing, it was based on my model of the world, it was based on my model of the reality. And maybe there like some part of me, like it is, if I'm resenting someone else, I'm feeling that anger, that resentment, that judgment to someone else, means that I have some part of it within myself that is just a reflection of me. And sometimes what we try to do is, when hard things, hard emotions, difficult emotions come up in our life, we try to disregard it and try to stay high vibe, thinking and believing that we are not supposed to feel those emotions. We are not just supposed to feel anger or resentment, and, suppressing those emotions. But what happens when we suppress those emotions? When we suppress those emotions, it stays stuck in our body, and it compounds over time. It becomes louder and louder and louder, until and unless it is released in some form. And if we don't work or process those emotions, it is then it turns into something more disastrous, like some autoimmune disease, or some, very like life shifting experiences in our life. So when things like that shows up, it is very important for us to self reflect, to look, to take a deep level of faith within ourselves, to dive deep within our consciousness, to go within ourselves and find out what part of it is causing that, what part of yourself is causing those emotions to emerge in your life. And that's why I share that concept of inner abundance, right? Because your world within is a projection of how you feel within yourself. So because I had that in the background, and like I became aware of that, right? I had that moment when I realized that I'm in this loop, and I'm stuck in that negative thought pattern where I'm constantly judging myself and judging someone else for their decisions, holding grudge against that, holding resentment against that, and anger against that. And it is not very helpful to me, to that person, or to anyone. And by holding those sort of emotion, I'm only making myself miserable, right? What is the outcome of that? It is only making myself miserable. And that's what happened when I was in that loop. I was not in a good headspace. I was not able to tap into myself and feel good. I felt resentful, I felt anger, and all those emotions that did not feel good to my body. And this principle of judgment is important because of that. Because your internal world is a reflection in the external world, if you are judging someone else, that also means that you are judging yourself. So I had to walk through that emotions where I really dived deep within myself. And the question, the prompt that might help you if you're in a similar phase where you are judging yourself, if you are judging someone else, if you're feeling resentful, if you are having that sort of hatred even with your family members, your friends, your colleagues, because we tend to put ourselves in a bubble and think that, okay, like if I am in that bubble, no one is going to destroy. I just want to be peaceful and no one is going to destroy that peace. It does not work that way. We are social creatures, and in order to sustain and have a happy life, we need to live in harmony, and we need to be around people. And when we are around people, we will definitely experience differences. When we experience differences, it brings out triggers, and triggers are the lessons that we need to learn. When you are triggered from an experience, it means that the trigger is some sort of emotion that is trapped in your body, that is trying to come out. And the more you keep those emotions in your body, the more triggers will show up in your life. The faces of the people may change, but the experiences are going to be very similar. Let me know in the comments below if you resonate with what I'm, sharing. Because how many times in your life have you experienced like situations where it is the same thing or very similar experiences? The emotions are very similar, but the faces change, right? Until and unless we don't learn our lesson, that is going to keep on happening in our life. That's what I've experienced myself. I thought just by boycotting those people away from my life, or just by removing them, just like losing contact with these people will simply stop bringing those emotions. But that's not the case. Until and unless you don't learn your lesson, until and unless you don't process that emotion, until and unless you don't work on your triggers, it is going to happen again and again and again. And the best thing we can do is to empower yourself by taking control of your life, by stop trying to be the victim who thinks that everything is happening to me. This person does not listen to me. I'm not worthy of love. Maybe something is wrong with me. That's why I'm not being respected. That's why what I'm saying is not being heard. That's why what I'm saying is not being valued. Instead of going in that space where you are constantly self critical, which is also judging someone else, you need to release that and understand and dive deep within yourself, your internal compass, and understand where is that coming from. because there, that is where your answer is. And it depends on it, like that experience is unique to everyone, right? What you are going through, your like what stage you are in your life is different, and what stage I am in my life is different. It also depends on the level of awareness we have. But my mom, she used to always tell me that when you show one finger at someone else, three fingers, three fingers, it is pointing to yourself. And it now makes like total sense. If I'm judging someone else, I'm judging myself too. If I'm pointing finger at someone else and saying to, I'm telling them this person has wronged me, this person does not respect me, I'm not being valued, I'm not being heard, why is this person like that? Sounds familiar? If you are constantly a victim and blaming someone else, you are staying trapped in your head, in your conscious mind. You're keeping yourself trapped by being a victim of your life and blaming someone else. So first of all, take your power back. Take your power back and let go of control. So the journal prompt that I used to really go deep within myself to understand why I was being so resentful, why was I feeling so wronged, why was I judging that person, like that is like someone I truly love, like I love that person, like, and have like the best intentions for them. I understood that the question I asked myself was how me judging that person is holding me back. Because when I'm judging them, I'm judging myself, right? So if judging that person is holding me back, how is it holding me back? That is the question I asked myself, and it blew my mind. It blew my mind because had created that imaginary prison for myself by judging that person, isn't it? And as I realized that, I had to really go deep within myself, do some journaling, and what came out from that experience was that judgment came from a place of deep hurt. That judgment came from a place of not feeling respected, valued, listened to. That judgment came from a place of feeling alone, feeling unworthy, feeling not listened to, not respected. So it was about the insecurities or the fear or the pain that was within myself. And that is how it got reflected in my judgment. And when I looked at those, knowingness, when I saw that like it was my deep issues in my tissues that was showcasing in that way, I knew that I had to do something, because I want to have a blissful, abundant experience in this world, in this life. It is about creating in abundance. And although every experience in our life is there to teach us something, I did not want to go through that experience again. So how did I let go of that feeling of not feeling hurt, of feeling disrespected, of feeling alone, of feeling unworthy? I asked myself, is that absolutely true? Is it true that what you say or what you do is not valuable? Is it absolutely true that you are not respected? Is it absolutely true that you're not being heard or you're not worthy? No, none of that is true. None of the things that I thought was playing out in my conscious mind without even me realizing it is true. So what do I do now? Is there any benefit of resenting that person? Is there any benefit of holding that judgment against someone else? Because it's only judging myself. When I'm pointing that finger to that person, I'm pointing three fingers at myself. I did not want that. It did not feel good in my head, in my life, in my body, in my heart. It was contracting me. I love to have a heart which is open. That was closing my heart. So, what did I do next? When I knew that those things were showing up, I decided to forgive myself. I decided to forgive the person who, in my head, I thought had wronged. I prayed for them, and then I made a decision to let go of control, to let go of making that decision, and to let go of holding that sort of emotion in my body and in my heart. In my mind, I let go of everything that was keeping me stuck. I imagined myself asking for forgiveness and forgiving that person at the same time. I prayed for them and let go of everything that was keeping that sort of contraction in my heart. I allowed myself to open my heart. It was that simple. It was just letting it go, allowing yourself to not judge someone else. Because deeply knowing that it was from a place where I was judging myself. And sometimes things may not work out. Sometimes things may not work out as we plan it to in our head, right? We look for perfect situations in our life. We want to be in the perfect job where we have the perfect boss who does the right things, says the right words, appreciates you, values you. Or you want to be in a family which is perfect, where they live by your standards. But what is it, what what is it creating, that sort of expectation in your life? What is it creating? It is creating judgment, and it's saying that in expecting someone else to be perfect, you're expecting yourself to be perfect. In expecting someone else to live their life through your lenses, you will be expected to live your life through someone else's expectation or lenses. And does that feel good to you? If God was, if there was God, if God is there, and I mean, like, God is there, right? But if God is watching you, and if you are making a mistake, do you think God will come down and tell you that this is wrong and control you? No. Even though God knows that you are making a mistake, He will allow you to make that mistake and wait patiently and allow you to learn from that mistake and experience. He's patient, He's kind. So, just understanding that really freed me from my own limitations and my own judgment and all those resentment I had. And sometimes, you know, like we have to be in our own timelines. Some relationships, some people in your life are supposed to be in a certain season of your life, and some people are not. And in some seasons you need to go in your own personal journey, even if it's a person who is close to you, even if it's like a family member or someone. Sometimes you need to go through your own personal journey, through your own spiritual awakening, whatever you would like to call it. But then it serves its own purpose, right? And if that person is supposed to come in your life again, and down the line, if your timeline collapses again, intersects again, that is well and good. But from this experience, what I learned is that sometimes letting go of control and not judging someone else and catching yourself then and there, by being very self aware, when you are creating a space of being judgy, of being resentful, of being, you know, negative, if you're self aware and if you're able to catch yourself in that very instance, in that very moment, It will allow you to go within yourself. The question you need to ask yourself is, how is me judging this person, resenting this person, getting angry at this person, blaming this person, or being a victim in this like situation holding me back? This automatically allows you to go within yourself, and instead of pointing the finger at someone else, you bring it back to yourself. And when you do that, you are able to take that power back to yourself and then work on yourself from a place of ease, grace, and flow. And if there is that knot within your heart that is detangling you and keeping you stuck in your emotions, you are able to let go of that way more easily and quickly, and not stay in that mental loop. Some people stay in that loop for years, and it just takes seconds, minutes, sometimes few days. But then you are collapsing time by doing that, getting your power back, and doing things which not only empowers you but frees you as a person. And this is the lesson I want to share with you today. If you are being resentful, if you are holding someone on, by being judgy, if you are having certain expectations from people, and if you try to remove them from your life when they do something which does not serve you or serve them, allow yourself to look within yourself, because we can't change the world. The only person we can change is ourselves. Sometimes you need to trust, you need to surrender, and you need to work on yourself. And when you are able to tap into yourself, when you are able to listen to yourself, when you are able to trust your inner compass, your inner guidance, that's when you will create inner abundance. And I feel inner peace is the most valuable asset, because when you are blissful, when you're peaceful, when you're so self assured within, when you're so validated within, internally validated, you don't need someone else to do that for you. And people can feel that energy. And you want to be that light to the world, right? And don't be too hard on yourself. Stop trying to be perfect. Embrace every lesson, everything that you go through in your life, because it's trying to teach you something. We all are here being messy, because messy mistakes creates, like messy experiences in our life creates space or portals for us to expand our consciousness and to be in a better headspace, to be in a better space for growth and abundance. And that's my message for you today. Go deep within yourself and allow yourself to expand. Forgive yourself and forgive anyone else in your life, and stay in a positive and blissful space within your heart and in your head, because that's the best place to be in. And until next time, peace, much love, and please keep on creating your inner abundance. Bye.